right, welcome back. Like I mentioned earlier, before that story, players are complaining that after what they've done for the nation in Cameroon in the just concluded African Cup of Nations, the Leone Football Association has withheld $1,000 each for the players because they've not returned the suitcase, which is estimated at $50 each. And online now, we have the team manager for the national team, Babadi Kamara. Good morning and welcome to the show, Babadi.
Good morning, Samuel Wise. Good morning, Sierra Leone.
All right, so there is this ongoing concern that players are complaining that the Sierra Leone Football Association has withheld their money because they've not returned the suitcase given to them for the tournament in Yaoundé. First off, confirm this for us and what's the stance of you, the team manager?
My decision we not support. I move with a destroy with image and integrity as a nation. How on earth players will don't go sacrifice for represent your country? You seize the money for a briefcase which costs less than $100. The decision will come about by just one individual person with a Chris Kamara. Just in one. Because to escort decision into the team official decision. So wherever I get a motivation, me no know. But I believe say everything we do that for just bring the name of the national team into disrepute and the country as a whole, which is very, very wrong.
This is a bit disrespectful to the country, a bit disrespectful to the players them, and una where they manage, where they are around the team for manager. That the player they don't go give them all to the country in Cameroon, and just for briefcase where people they estimate it cost $50, the FAC or as you put Chris Kamara when the Secretary General they say let we all this money, we need to go now money until now return their briefcase and the. I mean this in any way. They motivate the player that we need for. I mean, as a nation, we try for move beyond them petty things here. What does this really mean for even the player, the psyche, and the commitment for can play for Saloon?
Samuel, the thing about Leone Stars, I can tell you, say 80% of the players are foreign-based players. And most of these boys are born Europeans. They get a European mentality. Even the jersey that they wear. So many of them comment about the quality of the jersey they wear and the size of the jersey they wear. Now, for can't tell somebody where don't go play and don't fly back to in country, money away for GM, they can hold her for $100. Most of them, it would drive them away from the national team. And these are things where they go on, where authorities really need for look into and for correct them once and for all. Otherwise, it will continue for destroy as a nation. It will continue to put every effort with government and want to put it in the big for ensure say football players in this country. There is no way. I've not seen that anywhere in the world where people go for a tournament. You give them things for use for the tournament. Then after the tournament, you request back say on a handover to we. And these are things bought by the government of Sierra Leone. If you say na Umbro then supply an entity here, where is the agreement between Slfa and Umbro? Not know the details. Not know say na Umbro say we'll give a jersey for where we'll give a briefcase after every tournament, for return back to the FA so that we will continue to use that. It's so terrible, Samuel. It's so terrible how we do things in this country. And every day, just that it happen, people they see and then they talk. How can just one person go sit down and make a decision of that nature? Me as team manager, I'm not informed until I see on social media. The head coach not informed. Nobody around the national team is not informed. Pass the Chris Kamara, we're going to give instruction to the team manager. How can that be done? It is bad.
So what's in? I not say they get this this issue of third-party interference. We camp football na Saloon. But when issues like this come up, you get actually they say one great person just grab and make a decision for give bad reputation or bad image to the national team, to the country, and destroy the commitment, dedication, and love where the player then get for can play for the nation. Waiting what's in the government need for do at this point? I know there's this third-party interference, or what's in the Slfa itself as a body? You get the president and other authorities that for do for ensure say we reverse this negative news where it's trending at the country and perhaps soon out of the country.
The issue of third-party interference, I don't want people that go to misuse them. FIFA don't go tell we say money the government of Sierra Leone they spend per national team. They never ask for people to account for them. No, FIFA will not say that. Government don't spend billions for billions at the expense of other sectors of this economy. We don't go Cameroon, we don't come. We don't come. If we don't go, we never go to the level where we expect because of one ABCD reasons. We need for cash down and look into how will go wrong, how will get right, and how to correct them. So if somebody else is trying to do something where they undermine the team, we get the right as a nation for telling policy say you have to stop and we cannot tolerate this anymore. That is just what the Secretary General after the FA is doing. They do things then just by himself. Just by himself. Government has spent every single cent for Go Cameroon. Preparation and to Go Cameroon and come back soon. The government spent everything. So if briefcase will less $100 for 28 players, let us even say $100, that's $2,800 for all 28 players then you go hold $28,000 until they return and you don't pay the money. It's unfair. It's unfair. And it demoralizes the players. Some of these boys are very weak. They cannot weak in the sense their mental strength for supporting kind of issue they have to. They will say, why did they do this to me? They left his club football, they pay you on weekly basis. You fly, you go for go represent the country. Then all of a sudden somebody just say, I will not pay you your money because there is some briefcase. It's wrong. It's wrong.
So is there any word of encouragement now for the players then Babadi? I mean because this now big discouragement for them. You get any word of encouragement to the player them with this bad news where they go around?
Obviously, people they follow national team, they will tell you say, whenever I get the opportunity for talking to the players, I can always tell them say, make them put Sierra Leone first. The greatest honor for every player on earth to play for your country. So irrespective of the challenges they are, I can continue to talk to them, make them put at the back of the mind, whilst other good Sierra Leoneans they work for ensure say, then get what they deserve and the respect remain intact. I'll continue to talk to them on one basis because I've been all the talk almost every day. I'll continue to talk to them and show understanding and that this is not from Sierra Leone. This is from just one person where people say they get all the powers. But by holding power, the president, the other ESCO members, I believe say with that kind of development, they will call us to attention and talk to us and say, Chris, this is not the way to go. You are dealing with humans. Lord respect them. A lot treat them the right way. I believe say they will listen and the players they will show understanding and they will continue to commit themselves to Sierra Leone.
All right, plenty thank you for where you take your time for talk to we in this short notice. Plenty thank you, Babadi Camara.
You're most welcome, somewhere.
All right, is Babadi Camara, the team manager for the national team, Leone Stars, and he was talking about the decision which he said was taken by just the Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Football Association, Christopher Camara, withholding the monies for the national team players because they've not returned their suitcase given to them to go to Yaoundé in the African Cup of Nations 2021. And we also tried reaching out to the Secretary General, Christopher Camara. We called him. He declined commenting that the issue is not that important to comment on. And for those of you who are watching or listening, that's the response we got from Christopher Camara, the Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Football Association. We're also trying to reach to other stakeholders who are following the conversation there, but we shall be right back after this. All right, already Chris Camara has finally accepted to speak to us, according to the producer. Online now, Chris Camara is there with us to respond to the situation. Good morning, Chris, and welcome to Wake Up Sierra Leone.
Yeah, good morning to the panelists and good morning to listeners.
All right, Chris, there's this allegation that you've single-handedly withheld the monies of 28 players because they've not returned a suitcase that is estimated at $50. Now, take us through whether or not that is anything to go by.
I think if whoever has made short a statement has clearly indicated the highest level of mediocrity and doesn't know exactly what is required of governance of administration in football, to be specific. Chris Kamara is an employee of the Slfa. The decision for players to return the suitcase is a decision of the Slfa. So it has nothing to do with Chris Kamara. The instructions came from the executive to me, and my responsibility as the general secretary is to implement decisions of the executive committee. So I see no reason why an individual will come out and single out an individual that Chris Kamara is responsible. Let me make this clear. Before the team left Sierra Leone, they were instructed through the kit manager, the technical coordinator, and the welfare officer. We had a meeting, we gave them instructions, and they went and told the technical team. And when we got to Cameroon, in Cameroon, I had a meeting with the entire technical team and all the support staff, with the absence of the team manager. They didn't come to the meeting. And it was discussed and agreed again in that meeting. They asked, what are the things that are to be returned to the FA? What are the things that the players should go away with? Everything was made clear, simple. Now we say, I'll give you an example. I want to know, because I had, it's the team manager that said, where was the team manager when they criticized the 3 sets of kits? They said the kits are not good. The FA came and we prepared another set of kits. Do you know what they did? They collected the kits they rejected at the end of the 3rd match. Where was he? Where was he when the manner of lawlessness that was in the national team that he cannot control?
Chris Kamara, let me ask you this question. Has that been the practice, that players should return their suitcase after tournament? Have we had a similar experience in Sierra Leone of this particular situation?
We've never had, Mr. Ba, we've never had that situation. This is the first time the FA is providing equipment of this magnitude to players. We gave them bags. We gave them all manner of sporting equipment. And the manner in which the national team dressed to the tournament, it's a clear testament of how serious and sober the Football Association is. We told them to take everything away, but please return the suitcase. And this was something the kit manager came back and he reported to the FA that, look, I tried my best to get this. The only person that gave back his suitcase was Stephen Cocker. He gave this in Cameroon because he knew he was told. And what did we do? Nobody has withheld any money. When we received the money, as I speak, we've heard about the national captain returned his suitcase and has collected his $1,000 and he has traveled. What is wrong if the team is asked to return their suitcase? What is wrong? Senegal returned everything that they played with and put on their hotel wear. Why is Sierra Leone this lawless? Why shouldn't we maintain discipline in football? What is wrong if an employee is asked to return an equipment that belongs to the federation? It is not the property of the employee. It's the property of the Football Association. So if they ask you to return it, we have given these players single-handedly kits that worth close to about $2,000 to $4,000. And we ask you, and look at the joke. Somebody is saying the suitcase values at $50. You are asked to return a $50 equipment for you to collect $1,000. Yet you take it as a joke. Please, the players are not controlling the Football Association. It is the other way around. When the players held the minister and the leader of delegation in Cameroon hostage, that they will not play against Algeria if their appearance fee is not increased from 3,000 to 5,000. Did anybody bring that up? How many times have we had stand-up of players challenging decisions of the government and the FA? I think Sierra Leone, we should move beyond that point.
Chris Kamara, for the purposes of motivation, Sierra Leone is not like Senegal, for example, that has been, I mean, the highly ranked African team, even in FIFA, ranked at 20. Now, the best team in the continent with better infrastructure, better opportunities for players. When you bring that to Sierra Leone, it's not the same. So for the purpose of motivation, would the executive committee that gave you that mandate to retrieve back every equipment, the suitcase from the players, would they not have thought that let this serve as a motivation? So whenever we have these guys, we call them, we know we're not going to give them any suitcases, but we'll ask them to bring those suitcases and let them use them going forward. I mean, just for the purpose of thinking that we need to keep motivating these guys, would that not have been a better alternative, that going forward, we ask them to use, the suitcase that you've given to them, rather than holding their money and asking them to return?
I repeat again, on the motivational aspects, you've made a point that is very clear. The SLFA has motivated these players severally. The Football Association has been on top of the aspect of motivation. I will tell you personally the things that we've done for these players. I repeat, the national captain of the team, Umaru Zengele Bangura, knew of this decision, confirmed this decision. That was the reason why he brought his own and collected his money. Now, let me finish. Stephen Coker, even without money, when he knew it was a decision in Cameroon, before he left, he handed his own to the kit manager. In fact, let me tell you what Stephen did. Stephen was in the process of handing over every other thing that was given to him, because he knew in his club that is how it operates. That until the kit manager says, no, these ones, you should go with them. And I give again, when Alassane got an injury and he was meant to travel back to Spain, he took all his materials and left the suitcase for Augustus Cabo, because he knew it was an instruction. For God and heaven's sake, so why is it that we hate following instructions, yet we give demands?
So quickly, Chris, how many players have returned the suitcase, and who are they, and how many have not returned?
What we are trying to say is, the players, I will not give you off head. And it's very simple. Their monies are with the finance department. Most of the players spoke to me directly. Some suggested sending their suitcases. It will interest you to know, for example, we have a local-based player who told us that, oh, I have to go and collect my suitcase because my girlfriend traveled with it to the provinces.
All right. Thank you very much, Chris Kamara. In fact, according to some sources from Yaoundé, but thank you very much, Chris Kamara. We're still trying to talk about the issue of discipline, especially when you mentioned the team manager and all of that. The team manager is here again online, Babadi Kamara, trying to respond to the issue of allegation and of indiscipline. Sorry, Babadi. Good morning again.
Good morning, Samuel.
So Chris Kamara mentioned the issue of indiscipline at the national team, and according to sources, that even Stephen Colker was very angry that he had to just give up the suitcase.
Samuel, like I say, just in my own little way, my own life, what they live, integrity, nothing I ever get for joke with that this world. After the eliminatory at the tournament, that particular evening, when a hotel, Stephen was so devastated, he vexed, he don't know what he for do. When Chris talk say Stephen hand over in suitcase, he never did. He was vexed to the point that he took everything and give to Malian. Malian took everything. My room was just next to Stephen and Malian. Malian, I hold a suitcase that was Stephen Gian plus in Jazzy them. Then go give the kit manager. So like I say, a handover in a lawful way. That makes it a handover everything. Talking about indiscipline, that we don't come for certain reasons and about for certain things. When we talk about the indiscipline coming from the general secretary, now for instance, when we go Cameroon, Kai Kamara, he take his entire family, in wife, in Pekin, all, he can't go to the team hotel. He also take a special camera crew. Get them go to the team hotel. When I attend for stop Kai Kamara say you family for leave at the hotel outside the team day, Kai Kamara say he gets approval from the president. Call Dr. Songo will go with, and to Songo get serious issue on that matter day. I called Daddy Brema, one of the presidents of the FA. He was in Freetown. I called him and asked him, you gave instructions to Kaikama to bring his family to our team hotel? He said yes. He said yes. He is not aware of the regulation. So he gave the approval to Kaikamara. So Kaikamara began the hotel with the entire family. When we go train like Japoma, Kaikamara attempt to take a camera crew for putting at the team hotel. I have to stop him. I stopped him. So if in this simple day, me as team manager, I get limited powers. The FA president and the ESCOs that they get the overriding power. So if we don't say stop this, then the FA president say do ABCD. What's the go do? So that is what I said. We have most people idea to undermine the processes. Because undermine everything. Because if you're a team manager, you please come and say you call meeting for officials there. You have to call me. The people call the rest of the officials there. You go call meeting. When they have a meeting, then you send subordinate to me say, go call team manager for that attend meeting. I don't go there. So in this is come from the FA.
Yes. So you feel that the FA undermined your authority to a point that you had no voice.
Absolutely. Because if we are the team manager, we want to communicate anything, we want to take decision on behalf of players or anybody, you want to grab any approval. Talk to me first as a team manager. You go give approval to Kaikama for good family at the team hotel. Something even Messi and Ronaldo cannot do to their national team. They cannot do it. Yes, they cannot do it.
Going forward, what we for Duna as a nation? Because it also appears say we're not only kicked out of the group stages in the pitch, but also out of the pitch. Because if they're indisciplined, they are gone, and outside people they usurp people in powers, it means say there is trouble at the national team.
There is trouble because what thing don't happen before this time here. When they are appointed as team manager, you are expected to dance to the tune of the FA. And in my case, my loyalty to Sierra Leone. I don't leave what I do here in Sierra Leone to go, around the national team just because I want to fail. If failure is part of what other people do, I'm not part of it. So anything when they go right, anything wrong, being a photographer. If they want, they can sack me today, fine. I'll be okay. When we win a national team, somebody they undermine my own effort. So I don't take up. So because of that, I believe we Minister of Sports or NSO will need a roundtable discussion and a proper roadmap to Sierra Leone football. This half-hazard way, what they do to Nayaso, thank you for help me.
All right, plenty thank you, Babadi, for we respond to the allegation.
Yes,
all right. I mean, it's interesting. We've been joined in the studio by Paali Cissé, a sports journalist. You know, things keep unfolding every day. For many Sierra Leoneans who watched the African Cup of Nations, we only saw what happened in the pitch. But it appears that we started losing our ground out of the pitch, either in the dressing room, either at the management level. Listening to both Chris Kamara and Babadi Kamara, it speaks volume of the fact that, yes, I mean, people were usurping people's powers and authorities wanting, you know, you've been following the conversation, and now players are angry that, why are you asking us to return Suitcase and you are holding our money?
Thank you, Mr. Bangoa. May I say good morning to you, good morning to viewers and listeners. I follow the discussion between the General Secretary of the Federation and the team manager. I want to congratulate the team manager, Mr. Babadi Kamara, for being so bold enough, so blunt enough to reveal some of these things that happened in Cameroon. As he did say, he had not want to say things that went bad in Cameroon, but for issue or whatever forced him to come out and reveal some of these things. The issue of the national team, I think I want to express my dissatisfaction to the EXCO of the Football Association. Little did I say, or little what I heard from the General Secretary. When the new EXCO came into office under leadership of Tomodadi Brema, one of the executive members did tell me in Guinea when we went for the final match for the AFCON qualifier against Benin that they have asked Chris Kamara to do an handing over note of certain things that were under his control under the Aisha Juanse regime. One among them was the kit store. That as a general secretary, he should not be in charge of the kits. That's what one of the executive members did tell me in Cameroon. So for me to had that Chris Kamara was in charge. When the one of the exco told me that Chris Kamara is in charge of the kids, whatever, they have kids, somebody who should be in charge of the kids in the Football Association. And this Africa Cup of Nations, mind you that since 1996, after 25 years, we have not been in this tournament. So some of these players see it as a legacy for them. So having the kids, whatever, the suitcase, they believe that this should be part of their souvenir. That yes, in 2000, whatever Africa Cup Nation, we played, we qualified, went to that tournament. This is our own legacy that we should show. I think that's what the player we are thinking about. Even the captain, Umaru Zengele Bangwa, when this news met him in Cameroon, he said over his own dead body, will not hand over. Yes, will not hand over any of these things.
And like you mentioned, for some of them, this perhaps would be their last games for the national team. Exactly.
Kamara, to name but few. This is their last Nations Cup. So this item or kit equipment that was given to them it should be part of their own souvenir. So from what the team manager have said, he have never pivoted to any agreement made between or signed between the Football Association, the ESCO or whatever. And if you spoke to any ESCO, they will deny you that, or it will be as a news to them from what the General Secretary have said. Because when they went to Cameroon, even Chris Kamara was not in charge. It was really sidelined. Even some of our colleague journalists who are at Cameroon, some complaints they met with them, whatever happened, Chris Kamara met them and reported whatever issue, but he was not really a full in charge. But again, this is what we are saying since Babadi was appointed, that let his office be independent. Let him have his own office, his own letterhead, because he's a team manager. That's what happened. International best practice.
And Babadi mentioned that the team managers over the years have always been, people dancing to the tune of the FA, and he's not going to be that. So there's always going to be this problem.
Yes, one amongst them that was not part of that was Paul Kamara. When under the late Justice Tola Thompson was president of the Football Association, Paul Kamara was a team manager. His office was very independent. What happened? Seeking funds for the national team, he used his own letterhead as team manager of Leone Stars, even to have provision, Sardine, Lunchomin, to name a few, that he able to galvanize those items for the national team. What happened? When he was sacked because of some irregularities amongst him and the players at the airport, it was sacked. What happened? All what he have collected on behalf of the national team through the business houses, business philanthropists, he never returned those things because he knew that his appointment, yes, came for the FA, but his office was independent. That was I was expecting Babadi. Yes, it has been the normal, but those was not that was not happen internationally.
The rancor in Sierra Leone's football, many thought it would have. It's ended the day a new executive, took up office in as those running the Sierra Leone football. But it appears there is still this problem that football is not sanitized at all, and it's the biggest and most followed sport in the country and in the world. How then do we ensure that we're able to sanitize? Because now you have a team manager who feels that he's not going to dance to the tune of the SLFA because he believes his loyalty is to the nation and not to those running football there. And the FA now thinks that, oh no, he should be under our control. We have to manage him, and they are not going to work. The team manager now feels that the SLFA is undermining his authority, trying to handicap him not to function well. How would this work out, especially when we have the qualifiers in June coming?
Yes, as you rightly said, we have a new administration headed by Tomodadi Brema. There was no problem. During the time of Aisha Juwansi, there was a lot of wrangling, mouth-slinging amongst the football family.
Right.
But now, when we had a new executive, the problem we began to see is somehow settled a little bit. But the problem lies within the secretariat. The General Secretary office has been there for whatever years you may say. But since 2016, he have never went for leave. So what happened? When the new executive came in, that was their first call. That after they asked him to give a report of all what is under his custody, including the kids, we are thinking that he is going to be given a leave for a period of certain years so that let's see whether this problem we are thinking under Aisha Johansen administration was coming directly from an executive point of view or from the secretariat. But again, it came to our surprise that he's still in the office because people are saying that, well, no problem with this current executive. We have a very dynamic president, Omodadi Brema. He's bold enough. He's ready to give an interview, ready to say whatever thing is going wrong or whatever the case may be. But looking at the secretariat of the Football Association, where the problem lies. Today, you go down to the secretariat, you will see that all works, all other things is being controlled by the general secretary. It cannot delegate responsibility. So with all of these, people are thinking that we cannot forge ahead. Even the office of the team manager, we have a very good dynamic team manager. We know what happened. He's a philanthropist. He is really bold enough to tell you the truth right in front of you. But how can he work when, as he rightly said, he's been undermined by the Football Association, whether from an EXCO point of view or from the secretariat, which I believe is from the secretariat, because you have a very good rapport with the EXCO, but he cannot see eye to eye with the general secretary. It all started when the team selection came out. All of us know that the selection of players stopped at the box of the coach. Whenever the coach selected players, when the list went right in front of the desk of the general secretary, it was began, oh, Saiduba, Bo Rangers. This Bo Rangers, I told you. This, so all of this, so there is a problem. You see, this wrangling will continue. Babadi Kama have all the sincere intention to move the team forward. But again, how can he achieve this when, as he rightly said,
so it's an issue of victimization.
Exactly. So that's why we are calling on the EXCO. In fact, it's a surprise to me for one of the executive members who told me in Guinea when we went for this match against Benin that yes, they are going to relieve Chris. That's why they have done with their signatories, with the various bankers. They are also asking Chris to give reports about kids. How can you, as a general secretary, the CEO, the head of the Football Association, kids item is under your control? We have somebody.
Where's the kids manager?
Yeah, as a kids manager, that should not be. He's the CEO, he's the overhead, he's the head of the secretariat. He has people who have been dedicated to various responsibility. So again, for this Suitcase, what I made to understand, there's nothing like any agreement that after the match, you should give that to us. Well, we have been following this issue. Thank God they brought it out of the public for us to give our own view or analysis. But again, it is not called for. International best practice. Other countries, when you play with your jersey, that's why all of their names had the back of their jersey. So whether kit 1, kit 2, kit 3, whatever, three different jerseys, the green, the white,
they're all
and
customized.
Yeah, all customized. So it should be their own property. And that is something, as I said earlier, is something like a souvenir for them. Even the Suitcase, they are making fun of it, $50. But let's come purely to the sponsorship. If indeed it's really a sponsorship from Omgo, why should we be asking or why should we be requesting for this? Because we talk about sponsorship everywhere, slippers, handbag, whatever should come in from the sponsor. So again, what I want to appeal, yes, the $1,000 is with the FA, and when you return the Suitcase, but some of these players have even given out, some of them are even taken to their home. And
do you think some of them would want to come and play again for the national team when called upon?
No, I don't think so.
This
because
reality.
Even after the match, even after our final match against Equatorial Guinea, there was a lot of issue came out. There was a lot of issue. Some of them we talk one day. For now, maybe they are bitter. For them, they are not happy the way we are being eliminated from the competition. But again, as I said, Babadi Kama may have his own good intention, but how can he achieve this intention with this kind of administration? I have no problem with the EXCO, but the problem lies within the secretariat.
All right. We'll try to talk to some of the players. Unfortunately, not in this edition of the show because time is not our best friend. And we've tried reaching out to the president of the SLFA, but unfortunately, we cannot reach him on the phone at this moment. We'll keep trying and try to reach out to some of the players to get their side and bring out a thorough story for you, I mean, especially football lovers in this country. And this is where basically we have to end today's edition of Wake Up Sierra Leone. Many people are interested in this conversation. We've been receiving so many messages. My producer is telling me that I have to go through some messages. James and Patrick is saying qualifications are just around the corner. Do you want government to start all over again to be buying suitcases? Let them return it, please. The management demands it. $1,500 for one chicken. Well, if okay, we still have people who are still working at SLFA that don't love football, and the country also. Because how could you seize players' money because they failed to return their suitcase? That just shows that we have people who didn't love football or the country, all in the name of their own selfish interest. And trust me, Samuel, as long as Chris Kamara remains at the FA, I'm afraid that's the problem. From Best Eli at Duazakol. Johnson is saying, Slfa has rules that should be respected, but once you have factions with ill feelings embedded in them, you will always have problems where there are too many chiefs. The suitcase is not even worth that amount. Somebody is saying that. For what? It's an instruction. If you look at my comments, I mean, there's so many comments, interesting comments that we would have to hold that. There is no time, I'm afraid, no time. And in fact, somebody is telling me that they gave suitcases to EXCO members, and the EXCO members, they were not asked to return them at all, but the players are asked to return. It's getting quite interesting. This is something we would have to follow through and bring a thorough story to you, our football lovers. But just before we go, a reminder of our quote, which says, always bear in mind that the people are not fighting for ideas, for the things in anyone's head. They are fighting to win material benefits, to live better and live in peace, to see their lives go forward, to guarantee the future of their children. And it comes from Amilcar Cabral, one of the greatest anti-colonial leaders of the 20th century in Guinea. With that, continue to stay with AYV throughout the day. We have other exciting programs coming up. Till we meet again tomorrow for more interesting topics here on Wake Up Stallion. I've been your host. My name is Samuel Wise Bangura.